Anyway, I wanted to share tonight with you tonight the songs that I wrote about the environment because I always look for candidates for what they are actually promising to do or probably going to do or might really do about the environment. I mean, we live in the most beautiful part of the whole globe. I mean, 2,000 miles away from the nearest landmass. Everything is brought over here. And a lot of it really can't or doesn't leave accordingly. And these things that I'm wearing are kind of an example of what I've tried to do with some of the shit that we can't fucking get rid of. I stopped drinking canned sodas because these things, I mean, you can drown in how many of these you find around here. Which also, these things, which you don't see as much anymore, but still, plastic. And then we have a lot of sea creatures that get affected by the stuff that goes into the ocean. So anyway, my big passion these days, because I'm not getting any younger and I like to see my grandchildren be able to, like, you know, swim in the ocean and enjoy the forests and all that kind of stuff, is to get people to really think about what we're doing to our environment. I mean, there's nothing funny about, I'm usually doing funny stuff, but there's nothing funny about fucking up our island, you know. So, one of the first song I like to do for you all, we do a screen cycle. Everybody just start to snap your fingers. Good. And this is the song that's really, hopefully you'll take home in the back of your mind. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I want to say it again. Reduce, reuse, recycle. We gotta watch what we buy, what's it contained and what's it contained. Where will it end up, where will it lie? Can it be changed and used over again? Reduce, reuse, recycle. I want to hear you say reuse, recycle. Oh yeah, let's try our best not to pollute the air that we breathe or the water we drink. Before you give that item the boot, stop, look around you and take time to think. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Come on, say it out loud. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Right now we gotta do it before it's too late. There's only so much that this planet can take, so reduce. What else? Reuse, recycle. All right, do something. I'm telling you, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of programs out there that are actually, you know, in existence. And if you can write to your legislators and vote for the people who really are passionate about this particular issue, maybe something will get done, right? And I know Tiffany is into that because, hey, first of all, I'm for her because she's a woman! Okay, come on, guys. You guys have been in charge for way too long. We're here to help you. Okay, so let's give some of the women out there who are running a chance to prove themselves. All right, and then my next song is still about our environment. What's going on here? Because, like I said, it's all part of our concern. And one of the things that We really can do it. We're really lucky out here in Puna because we have a lot of land that we can do this. So we can actually plant more than they can in the city. So how many of you guys have gardens in your yard? Okay, can you see? Look around. We can all start, even the smallest little thing. Because planting a tree, planting any kind of plant some bacalolo. I mean, come on. How good is that? And I think they're really kind of, letting us kind of get away with stuff. But I think it's okay to plant a garden, okay? Hear this? Let's plant a garden out in the yard. Let's work together and it won't be that hard. Think of the wonderful things we can grow. Neat little plants in neat little rows. Let's plant a garden. Let's plant a tree. Let's be the change that we all want to see. Help fight global warming, green up the earth. See the fun in backyard farming, roll up your sleeves, dig in the dirt. Let's plant some flowers, let's plant some trees. The birds will love that, and so will the bees. Plant something healthy, like veggies and fruits. How about some herbs or some edible roots? Let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree. Let's be the change that we all want to see. Good for our environment, good for me and you. There is really nothing to it, just say you can, and it's easy to do. Let's plant some natives wherever we can, like in the old days when this was their land. Plant ili-ahi, cause there's not that much. Ma'o-how-hele, oh-hi-a and such. Let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree, everybody. Let's be the change that we all want to see. Together, let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree. Oh, come on, let's be the change that we all want to see. Take that little seedling, put it in its bed. Just be sure to give it water, show it some sun. Keep it well fed. Let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree. Let's be the change that we all want to see. Everybody, let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree. Let's be the change that we all want to see. One more time. Let's plant a garden, let's plant a tree. Let's be the change that we all want to see. I think we should all start planting papalola.
We already have.
I know, but we can always use more. I know I can. And get different kinds of papalola. All these different versions of it. Well, here's my version of the song about planting bacalao. And then, anybody remember Don Ho?
Yeah.
This song is done to that too. So, if you know Tiny Bubble, then you can join me with this song. Pacalolo is all I need to make me happy. Oh, what an awesome week. Pacalolo makes me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love it till the end of time. And after I smoke something kind, the munchies take over my mind. So all I can think of really good grind. Pot-a-lo, call it pot, grass or marijuana, it really matters not. Share it with others and just be kind. It's a feeling that is really good for a real good time. So here's to that special herb, 'cause we gotta spread the word that it's not really bad no matter what you heard. Pot-a-lo in the bong or rolled up nice by Cheech or Chong. Pot-a-lo, really good with wine, for a feeling that is really good for a real good time. Sing it with me. For a feeling that is really good for a real good time. One more time, all together. For a feeling that is really good for a real good time. Okay. Who can sing a drum? Come on. Shoot, I encourage all of this kind of methods because, hey, we're in Pune, what the heck? And after you smoke some Akebono, you know what you gotta have? Some loco moco. Because the manchis come and they can't get too much better than a loco moco, but Cafe 100, chalk, rice, you know that. This is my loco moco version, sung to the tune of Locomotion. Remember that? Everybody's eating the same old dish now. Come on, baby, eat your locomoco. That's spaghetti or some deep fried fish now. Come on, baby, eat your locomoco. And never mind the omelette with green onions and spam, or toast with guava jelly with 2 eggs and ham. Come on, eat your locomoco with me. You gotta grind them down like this. Chew up, chew down, chew around, and then you swallow it right down. Yes, heavy with that gravy on my meat and rice. Yeah, go gravy, baby, with your locomoco. The egg on top is island fresh, that's really nice. Yeah, go ahead, baby, eat your locomoco. It's all over, it's greasy and it's fattening too. Oops. So if you eat too much, you have a big old poo. Shut up, just eat your locomoco with me. You gotta grind them down like this. Chew up, chew down, chew around, and then you swallow it right down. There's never been a dish that was so easy to eat, yeah. Come on, baby, eat your locomoco, 'cause when you're really hungry, hey, it's hard to beat, yeah. Come on, baby, eat your locomoco. You rather eat some other stuff, but you cannot. So go ahead, eat this stuff right here while still stay hot. Oh, come on, eat your locomoco with me. All right, baby, eat your locomoco with me. Come on, eat your locomoco with me. Hey, and have extra rice and gravy on the side. Can't be a mom, but everybody has a mom, right? Right. All right, close it up with a song that I really believe, well, just have to believe. One of the things that I've heard in my getting old years, I am 68 this year, but from the back I still look 70. And I say that because I had a little girl come running up to me, a friend's daughter. She comes running up to me, she looks right up at me, and she goes, I'm taller than you. And I go, oh yeah? How old are you? She goes, 7. And I'm fuck! I'm standing right there. It's her eyesight. I've been telling everybody for a buck I still look 9. Fucking gravity sucks, man. So I had to explain to her what gravity was. But I don't mind now that I'm getting old because I look at it and go, wow, that's some good times, man. And I'm going to share it with everybody and write songs that kind of express the kind of learning that I have had in my life. And this is one of the songs that I'm very, very proud of because I've learned that our minds, this mind here and the mind inside your brain, is the most powerful thing on this planet. If you look around, if you look at everything around you, just a small example, somebody thought of that, of the chairs. It all came from somebody's imagination and said, wouldn't it be nice to have a really nice thing? In other words, everything that you see was thought up by a human being. So our minds are very powerful. Unfortunately, we don't even know how powerful it is. We only use a small fraction of our mind. And as I get older, I realize how very powerful it is. And belief is very, very powerful. And when you believe something and everybody else that you share the belief with shares that belief with you, and exponentially, I think is the word, it becomes very powerful, and that reality, whatever you think is your reality. That's how powerful our minds are. So, if we keep thinking positive thoughts, you guys, think of the possibilities for this species. So I wrote this song called You Just Have to Believe, because I really believe it. Fear, guilt, anger, shame, easily accessible, easier to blame. It's not that serious if you just think about it. Just whose reality are you trying to control? Life is mysterious, there is no doubt about it. You just have to believe that you're the captain of your soul. Let it go, let it flow. It's all about the here and now. High and low, winds will blow. You just have to believe that it will all work out somehow. The past is gone and we can only look behind us. What's done is done, it's time to start on something new. Take that experience and use it to remind us. We just have to accept the change and take a different view. Take it slow, you will know how to receive what comes your way. Make it so, let it flow. You just have to believe what really matters is today. So fill your heart and mind with love and good intentions. Decide what's right for you and do it on your own. It's time to rid yourself of all of your pretensions. You just have to believe the choice is yours and yours alone. Let it go, let it flow. It's all about the here and now. High and low, winds will blow. You just have to believe that it will all work out somehow. You just have to believe that it will work out somehow. Thank you very much.
That's why we work so well together. Auntie Libanisos, everybody. Okay, and our next performer here to bedazzle you with her funnies is Britton Trommer. Tiffany? I got a couple of drinks that made me want to be here a little bit more, but I also didn't want to be the only sober person in Puna tonight. So, I'm so happy to be performing for you guys. It's like a real rare treat to get to do this, but I did make myself notes so that I stay on task. It's not like, you can take it as amateur hour if you want to, it's just so that I don't, start talking story, and next thing you know, it's Tuesday. So, Pahoa reminds me a lot of my hometown. I am from this tiny town in Illinois. The name is Moequa, rhymes with Shaniqua. That would be funny, except for we don't allow black people here. So, it's true, unfortunately, but it's much like Pahoa if the entire village decided to collectively take a bath, Everybody's friendly, they all know each other, they all know each other's business, and I really do, I love those things about small towns. You can decide to lock your door or not. Okay, maybe not in Leilani Estates, but you can decide to lock your door or not. And it's just this friendliness that you get in these small towns that I think is really something that we have to value. But today I was working in Hilo, and honestly, you've been in Hilo too long when all the white people start looking alike. I can't remember a name. Oh, you're blonde and you do yoga? Oh, we're Facebook friends. I'm sorry, honey, I don't remember. So, I hate to perpetuate the small town stereotypes because it's an easy target. Let's face it, it's been done before, and I am caught on something. Hang on. Oh, don't pull the cords. I'm sorry. Okay. It's meant to be stand back a little bit more. Okay. Oh, that's not going to work with the tassels later. The last time I was on stage, I had people handing me dollar bills, and you guys are disappointing me already. So, where was I? Tassels, oh no, hang on, that's later. I hate to perpetuate these small town stereotypes, but I did date my cousin when I was growing up. Cousin on both sides. It was really sad. But the funny thing about small towns is that no one would say anything to you. They all know that you're related. They all know that, if we had babies, it would be catastrophe. So, you imagine me, I'm 24 and having my 4th kid, walking down the grocery store aisle with all of them in tow, and somebody stops and they say, well, look at that little boy. That third eye means he's just meant to play ball. What can you do, right? A little bit of inbreeding never hurt anybody. So, I don't have kids, but I'm definitely working on my maternity style. I say it because everything is a style these days. I'm working on my maternity, yo. I like pretending like I'm pregnant because it's all of the benefits and none of the trouble. So it actually happened by accident that I was, if the bar girls will tell you that I've already gone to the bathroom 6 times tonight. It's the vodka. So I'm on this flight back to Hilo, and I really have to use the bathroom. So of course it's that time where they're taking the trays back and everything's kind of congested, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna slip through, go use the bathroom. And I come back and they've already passed my seat with that tray that takes up the whole row. I think, okay, so I'm gonna have to sit this whole flight in somebody's lap waiting for them to move the tray, right? I go up and ask the stewardess, I'm like, my seat's right there, can I climb over? And she's like, bathroom, you can wait. So what I figured out was, as you're standing there, it's really simple. You put one hand up on the little rest there, then you put your next one right on the belly. And suddenly everybody's looking at you like, oh, that poor lady, they won't let her sit down. Oh, well, the stewardess who told me no couldn't see, but her coworker, who was going the other way, right this way, looked at me, saw the assumingly pregnant lady standing there holding on to the side. Oh, I'm so exhausted, I need to sit down. And they hauled the cart all the way to the back and let me sit down. So, that was the beginning of my adventures in fake pregnancy. Watch for the reality TV show coming soon. We don't have kids, it's okay, because my cat is gonna be famous. And that's how you know people don't have kids, when they're like, my cat is awesome. But really, my cat is currently having an article written about her in Honolulu. She is a rescue kitty that we found at the Kayau dump. And so it's about 8:30 at night, it's pouring rain out, we were on our way to go get dinner, and all of a sudden my husband flags me over and he's like, come look. And there's just this pile of poop, like sitting in the water, right next to, of course, where we're, filling up our 5 gallons. And I'm like, oh, we gotta pick her up, we gotta save her. And she's about this big right now. So we take her home, we clean her up. My husband says, you cannot keep that cat. And I'm like, we'll talk about it in the morning. And that was the end of that. So we named her Scully. Scully, any X-File fans out there? She is out to discover the mysteries of Puna. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Watch out for her. She's on her case already. She's a smart one. So, we don't have kids. We're really, really okay with that, I promise. Everybody keeps on asking us. It's on the way, no worries, give it time. In the meantime, I'm keeping myself busy. I found a comedy mentor in Honolulu. She says, you know what, you have to talk about what you know. Because otherwise people call you on your shit immediately. Like, they know when you're not talking the truth. I said, oh my God, that's awesome, I know everything. Some kids grow out of it. I didn't. I'm 33, I'm still here. And I see these 7-year-olds that are like, yeah, I know everything. And I'm like, oh honey, I got 25 years on you, it's all good. I know more. So, I asked, this is the funny thing, is that if you think about how much we know and how much we claim we know, smartphones are a really fascinating thing. They've turned us into a culture of walking assholes. You are suddenly an expert on everything. Oh wait, let me Google that. I'll prove you wrong, right? And we do it all the time without thinking that it's rude, because it shows that, hey, we're being ingenuous. We have a traveling dictionary with us. So smartphones really fascinate me. My husband doesn't have one. And so I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but the most embarrassing thing ever is when somebody uses your smartphone that shouldn't be using it. So we're at the bar, my husband picks up my phone and he's like, let me show you her website, her photography's great. Let me just find the website, and he's pushing some buttons and all of a sudden it's, oh, and I look at it and youporn.com. And he's going, okay, is that a scroll or a push? Is that a scroll or a push? And I'm like, I'll tell you later, honey. Local sluts! Oh my God! Are there no iPhone users out here? I'm gonna get in trouble for that one later. La la la. Do we have a sound guy tonight? Are you our sound guy? Our sound person? Okay. It's just this stage reminds me of my living room. You know that you're dating a sound person when you have so many plugs and cords in your house that it looks like an S&M dungeon. Like, oh, honey, is that a cord right? Your DLR cable. I'd like to wrap that. I'm an expert cord wrapper. You can always look it up online. Best in New England, voted 3 years in a row. So I have a thing for cables, what can you say? And so what you guys are hearing are like like the things that I wish I could say on Facebook, but I actually have an alter ego. So from now on, whenever you see anybody in Hilo performing as Rusty Lee, that is me. She might be dripping cake batter all over her tassels. She might be waitressing at Lucy's. You just never know where she's gonna pop up. But I had to get an alter ego because my mom says that my Facebook needs a breathalyzer. And you can ask Damon Tucker about this personally. I can't ask him because he blocked me. But yeah, I enjoy, having some fun online, and everything's so weird now that it's gone digital. It's like my mom just joined Pinterest because we all need one more page about food porn. Oh, look at this scrumptious cake. And I'm like, thanks, Mom, I'm gluten-free. It's nice that we can all organize this. I love when people put up, are there any crafters here? Are there any Pinterest people? Pinterest? Oh my God, we're in Puna. Okay, so Pinterest is this website where you can organize things by the photos that you see, and you can put them in cute little categories, and it's like making a scrapbook digitally, which means you're doing fuck all. So when people put a scrapbook up that says, things I'd like to do, I say, I have a scrapbook for you. Get the fuck off the internet. It works. So my mom is on Pinterest, which means that I have to take down the lesbian S&M page that I built and the naked baking page. What a pain in my ass. So these are the things that you have to deal with in the digital age. I think I'm pretty much gonna leave it there. I obviously have not, oh wait, hang on, I have more. I need another drink. Can you, no, I'll get that afterwards. So the funny thing is that, right, we have a huge storm heading towards us. You guys are awesome for not being like, God, when is she gonna be done? We have a huge storm coming for us, right? And my worry is, how is anybody in Puna gonna get laid if the internet goes out? Seriously, how are you gonna find who you're gonna fuck that weekend? I'm sorry, but it's I'm pretty sure that FetLife has a page for politicians. I like whippings and making signs. Want to get together? You have to be a masochist to become a politician. I'm sorry, but I also laugh when I talk about politics in Puna because it so reminds me of like Vermont with the beach. 1968 happened and time was frozen. So for you guys are lucky, you got the beach. Vermont got Bernie. Okay, fair trade. But what I really love, and I'll leave you guys with this, is that whenever a storm starts to hit the Big Island, you can go online and have a lot of fun. You'll notice that people start freaking out. They'll show the weather and tracking maps. And it's not like I'm from the Midwest. If a storm misses your town, oh, that's great, but it's gonna hit somebody else's. Boy, being in the Big Island is like playing ping pong. It's like, ooh, the storm's over here. No, wait, it's over here. Is it gonna hit us? Oh my God, it's over here. Oh my God, it's over here. 20 points. Storm time. Nobody else does that at home? Okay. What I love seeing is all of the posts that happen as the storm is rolling in. Is there going to be a storm? Do you have thunder? Do you have thunder in Hilo? Do you have thunder in Puna? How about Kalapana? We have any thunder over there? Yes, we have lightning. We have lightning. Confirming there is lightning in Akebono. All right. And then you start to see, I love lightning. I love lightning. I love lightning. All of the white people are on Facebook saying, dear God, bring us some lightning. If you like my act, the name is Rusty Lee. If you didn't, my name is Tiffany Hunt for Puna. Okay. so while Hal's getting ready, we're going to do a couple more announcements. For people having to tolerate too much diversity publicly, just a reminder that the Pahoa chapter of Conservatives in Hawaii support group meets weekly in Hilo. Kalani Honua announces that beginning this Sunday, ecstatic dancing will be replaced with fire ants interpretive dancing. You might want to shower before you go home. Despite hitchhikers, ahi and patelis for sale, and now sign waving, there is apparently not enough entertainment on the side of the road. Hawaii Tourism Authority announced this week it's accepting grant proposals for their Highway 130 Windshield Tour of Puna program. To promote economic development and the slowest possible traffic into Pahoa Town, Hawaii County is accepting applications for everything from a drive-through farmer's market to overnight camping at the KL recycle station. The County of Hawaii Building Division announces its technical workshop series designed specifically for residents of Puna. The workshop series, titled Building Your Jungalow, includes sessions on building a water catchment system with tarps made of taro, how to attach gutters to your pili-pili grass roof, and yes, you're all about love, but your rainbow gathering commune still needs to be handicap accessible. Are you all ready, Hal? And so next, a surprise visitor to us tonight, the awesome Hal Glatzer.
I should say right away, I'm a ringer. I'm in District 1. I can't even vote for Tiffany, but she's been a friend of mine for years through the Big Island Press Club. And I have to say, she's the smartest person running in your district. And we really need to elect intelligent people to office. So I asked her, could I come and sing a little song? It's not political, it's not a roast, but I hope you'll enjoy it. I'm an Akebono coming on the island of Hawaii and a lover of the Orchid Isle. But the floral propaganda for the little purple vanda is what makes me smile. Oh, I can play guitar and croon about the orchids out in Puna, but the flowers that I love the most are the elegant wahinis, local girls and wahinis who are blooming on the Hamakua Coast. There's Hermione, Hilo, and Pauline, and Paolino, and Moana on the road to Mauna Kea. I like to kiss Melissa slowly by the stream and Cody, but I'm dreaming about it. Mea. Susie chatters like a miner out in Mauna Kea, but I miss her when I'm up in Mountain View. And when I'm riding with the cattle through the hula cycle, all I think about is Kathy and Kahulu. I ride from Pu'uwaka to Hemi and Homoka'a. She's a sassy gal, kind of roly-poly. But Teresa can keep rhyming on her part to make it chime in Gale Kaha and Kalani on the Oli. Oh, I like to holo with Virginia, Tiki Holo, and Dallas all the way to Honolulu. But I'm a fun gal fella with Marie and Kamawela and with Belinda on the beach at Honolulu. When I lose Pat and Pauka, I'm with Willow down in Wawa, and it's off to Captain Cook to visit Miley, Nancy Pamela, and Puako, and Natalie, and Napo, and Katarina, and Kukui Island. I visit twins, Marie and Mona, and Nakai and Malikona. I nuzzle with Phoebe and Naoleu. Also an actress I know around the pool like below, and she's famous. I promise not to say who. Hannah's waiting in Paolo, but I like a Paolo and Maria. Tumakulo, I wish I had a dollar for Jamie Kohala. He would eat Kapahao, from a gal in Honolulu, I would give up Honolulu and forget I ever went to Waikiki. So I hope I gave you some idea where my onomatopoeia like what is my favorite island. You can tell it goes about Molokai and Kauai. I won't be seeing them for a while. For when the sky is pouring rain over Keau and Volcano, and I carry on the extra mile. You know, I'll only hear my lovely Kana Elo Pollyanna, when she sings it in the Iamai on the Capuana, coming out the Mountain on the island of Hawaii, the mother of the Orchid Isle.
better not to. I'm so happy my soul is not that, which is Tiffany Edwards Hunt in this lifetime. You're awesome, hon. You're awesome.
Eat trash.
Eat trash. That's right, eat trash.
I'm so eager, I was running to the stage.
Don't you love people who can make fun of themselves?
So just think, what would your handle be? This one is 2LiveQ. It's surprising that Tiffany has not used this thread as a basis for another rant editorial on her Big Island Chronicle. Not yet, at least. And once again from Kathy H. Unfriending people is kind of juvenile, and blocking is again a sign of overreacting. You can downgrade someone to an acquaintance, and they won't see your private posts. A good politician doesn't burn bridges, even with people who seem unimportant to the cause. And another one from Kathy H., who, by the way, doesn't live in Puna, she lives in Honolulu. I know that Tiffany has a brain and an education. I would so like to see her engaging it and stop focusing on campaigning as performance art.
What? How could you dare say that? It's not like you're having a show at the Akebono or anything.
Can I just say something? In this crowd right now, we have our very good friend, the Chicken Man.
Where's Tom?
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure, honestly. It really is a pleasure, and if you ever need some eggs, he is around Pahoa and Puna a lot with his carton of eggs. There he is, the wonderful Chicken Man, we call him.
Where's Tom?
Okay, now back to E-Trash. I'll do one more and then we'll save some more for later. Kathy H. again. Campaign signs, slogans, and bumper stickers. She spends more time talking about her signage than any candidate I have ever seen.
She even has a crucifix.
That is recycled pine from Scott Lee.
Yeah, it's a crucifix.
Acupuncturist in Hilo, building a house in Puna Palisades. We are reducing, reusing, repurposing. By the way, everyone needs to take a sign home and adopt it. And beware, they will be stolen. They're so hot commodities.
You can't get this
Take
one
them
this
home.
way.
Let's see how long it takes before they're stolen.
All right. Woo! I know what she wants to do with this. I'm afraid. Now we're going to bring up a brand new friend. I was out campaigning door to door with Leilani, Bronson Kelly, running for State House District 4. And I met this really nice man, and his name is Manuel Escondido, and he said he was a stand-up comic, so of course I dared him to show up, and he did! So everybody, here's Manuel!
Thank you, Tom. Aloha. Aloha. Can you hear me all right? No. Did I hear no? A little closer. How's that? Yeah. Okay, one more try. My name is Manuel, and I'd like to talk to you about my experiences with dating. I'm single, and I guess the least I can say about that is it's really difficult to meet someone. It's a jungle out there. And, you know, I approach young ladies who seem attractive to me. I come up to them, they're trying to get in line or trying to start a conversation. Usually I'm rejected, and it gets to be a habit. And it got to the point where I gave up. But then I came across this article in a magazine, and it was based on research that, in summary, said that couples who have lived for a long time together, married for 20, 30 years, 40 years, if they start to look like each other. And if you stop for a second, that's kind of a devastating thought. Think about it. But it gave me new hope and it renewed my spirit. And I thought, wow, this is information I could use. So, based on the article, what I did was, I went out and bought myself a dress. I bought some high heels, some nylons, some lingerie, some chandelier earrings. I bought a wig, makeup, right? And I put it all on. I didn't know quite how to accessorize the dress, but I bought a nice clutch. So I put everything on, like I said, the makeup, the wig, the lingerie, the dress, and I went and stood in front of a mirror. So I figured that way I'd recognize her when I see her. There was this one night I was home alone, and I was having a difficult time just sitting there, not doing anything. So I decided that I'd go to a restaurant and just have a nice meal by myself and enjoy the ambiance of the restaurant. So I sat down, I got my order, started to eat, and a few minutes later, this really gorgeous, beautiful gal to one side sat at a table, and I could see her clearly. And then I started to think about her, think about what it would be like to approach her and talk to her, try and make friends, start a relationship. But then I got a grip and told myself, no, I didn't want to torture myself again and just get rejected. So I decided to forget about it. So I finished my meal, paid my bill, and I started to walk away. And as it happened, I had to walk in front of that gal that I saw. Really beautiful, gorgeous gal. I was fantasizing as I was approaching her. And as I walked abreast to the table she was sitting at, she started sneezing. Sneezing really, really hard. And as it happened also, she had a glass eye, and she had this really hard sneeze that dislocated the glass eye from the eye socket and launched it from her face. And I just happened to be in the right spot. And reflexively, I reached out and I caught it. So I walked over to her, and I handed it back to her, and she grabbed it on my hand, and she, busily tried to put it back in the socket, and she didn't say anything to me. So I just started to walk away, and then she calls to me, and she said, hey, wait a minute, that at least deserves a cup of coffee. And I said, sure, why not? So I sat down, and I looked at her, how beautiful she was, even despite that defect that looked so natural. She was so beautiful, I was practically drooling. So we talked and talked and talked, and time went by, and the waiter said that they were closing, so we had to leave, and we were walking out, and I said goodbye, because I figured I didn't have a chance with her. And as I started to walk away, she said, hey, wait a minute, why don't you come to my apartment? Which took me completely by surprise. And I said, okay. So we went to her apartment, and all the time we were going there, I was thinking, what does she want with a guy like me? What would Joe Schmuck be telling me? she can have any guy she wants. Like I say, even the defect wasn't so obvious, it looked so natural. So we go to her apartment, we sit down, we start to talk again. And it still bothered me. Why would she want to be with me? Why would she ask me to her apartment? And I kept scratching my head and I kept wanting to ask her. Finally I did, I asked her, why would you want to be with a guy like me? A girl's so beautiful, you can have any guy you want. And she said, yeah, she always got lines from guys, she always got hit on, and she was always being stalked. And I said, well, why would you want with a guy like me? And she said, well, you just happen to catch my eye. There was this other date that I had. There was this girl, beautiful girl. We made a date to go to the beach. I showed up to her apartment. We packed a lunch. And we started to walk out. And it was a really nice day, the sun was shining, right? And as we're about to get in my car, she suggested, why don't we go in her car? Because she had a convertible, and we could enjoy the sun on the way to the beach. As I said, this girl was beautiful. She was so gorgeous. And I said, why not? I could sit in the car and watch her. But there was one thing about this gal. She was a talker. She talked, she talked, she talked, she talked. I mean, the sun was great. Riding in the convertible, we drove all the way to the beach. She talked, she talked, she talked. We got to the beach, she talked. We laid down for a while, spread out our towels and our blankets, she talked. We had our lunch, she talked. We went in the water, she talked. We lay down some more, she talked. We packed up our stuff. We got back in the car, it was still a sunny day, and she talked all the way home. By the time we got home, her tongue was sunburned. There was this other girl I met. We went on a date, and I walked to her porch, and we started to say goodnight. We hugged, we kissed, and then she asked me, would you like to come in? And I said, sure. So I come in, she let me in, we sat down, and we started talking. Then she says, do you mind if I change into something more comfortable? And I said, no, fine. So she walks out. A few minutes later, she walks back in. She put on a wedding dress. There was this other date that I had. This gal, she invited me over to her house. She said that she would cook dinner for me. And we could just have a nice time and cuddle, have a nice conversation. So I said, sure, okay. So I went over to her house, and she cooked a nice meal. We started to talk. And then she said, why don't we go to the mall and just do some window shopping? Since it was late at night, the mall was closed, right? And I reminded her of that. She said, that's fine, just walk around and hold hands. And we'll just have a good time that way. So we went to the mall and we started walking around. And we come to this one showcase. It was a shoe store. And she says to me, or she starts ranting about all the shoes that she sees, and she saw this one particular pair that she liked. And she went on and on and on about how nice it would be, and she had an outfit for it. And whatever suited her, she could wear those shoes. So I stepped back, I pulled out a brick, I threw it in the window, broke the window, and I reached in and got the shoes, and she put them on. So we go walking on, and we came to a jewelry store. She saw a ring that she liked, and she again started ranting and raving about how nice the ring it was. And she was rather insistent that she would really like to have that ring, so I stepped back, I pulled out a brick, I threw it in the window, I broke the window, and reached in, got the ring, and put it on her. So we go walking on some more, and we came to this clothing store. She noticed a coat that she liked, and again she went on and ranted about how nice it would be to have that coat. Blah, blah, blah. She went on and on and on. I didn't do anything. I just stood there. She kept on insisting, and she kept on talking about it. And finally she looked at me exasperated, and I said, "What, do you think I'm made of bricks or something?" That's my time. My name is Manuel. By the way, I'm desperate for a full-time job. If you have any ideas for me, I'd like to talk to you. Thank you.
Okay, next we have another roaster who showed up tonight, wants to come on up. Come on, Graham Ellis! I just need, for payment for coming up on stage, I just need a couple of Okia.
Wait, for that?
Is this one on?
Is that what you wear when you're in court?
I feel I'm in court. So yeah, it was about a week ago, Tiff said to me, "Hey Graham, I think you need cheering up." I said, "Sure, yeah." She said, "Come along, Akebono, have a good laugh." Sounds good. I have had a good laugh. Thing was, she said, "Well, it's a roast." Roast? I said, "Yeah, sounds good to me. I love a roast. Roast beef on Sundays." That's how I was brought up. She said, "No, different kind of roast." I tell you, I've been to a lot of events. A lot here at the Akebono, a lot around the island. I've never been to a roast. I had no idea. Till last night, I looked online. Holy shit, this is what I have for. The good thing was, Tiff said, "Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of your friends there. They're people, they like to laugh, they like to have a good time." And I said, "Yeah, I do too." So she said, "Well, you have a choice, you can let them roast you, or you can roast yourself." So guess which one I chose? I love you all, but, we have a saying in England, it's about people. It says, "There's now as queer as folks." And they're not talking about gay people. There's nothing as strange as people. And I tell you, when I read a lot of newspaper articles these days, not yours, Tiff, but I get confirmation of that. It's not as queer as folks, right? Definitely, we got them here in Puna. Thank you, RJ. So anyway, here's my roast. And I'm dressed for it. I know it's not a roast beef dinner, but I'm dressing formally because I felt like it was going to be a formal occasion. And if I can find my glasses, I'll be able to read my little script here. So yeah, on the way here, parking, I had an accident. Before I start my speech, I'd like to say that the hippie with the rainbow VW that scratched my brand new Mercedes coupe outside is going to get a lawsuit from my lawyers in the morning. So if you're in the audience, watch out for that. I'm better known as Graham Moneybags Ellis. And I come from a long line of corporate carpetbaggers. And our dynasty was founded in 1825 here in Hawaii by the Reverend William Ellis, the Right Reverend. He was a leftist minister, came here from jolly old England, and he wrote a famous book, some of you might have read. It's called Business Opportunities Around the Sandwich Islands. Recommend it, check it out. He's also well known and passed this on to me. He was the inventor of the world-famous Marmite and Marmalade sandwich. I'm actually proud to be known as a corporate community developer. In 1987, I invested all my life savings in a huge 11-acre estate in the jungles of Lower Puna. It was indeed a super brilliant deal, probably because it had no power, no water, infinite mozzies and creepy crawlies, and the closest telephone was half a mile away. We installed luxurious hot water after about 6 months and upgraded our tents and poop holes with a fancy yurt and a flush toilet after about a year, and it became first-class camping. So when I discovered what a great deal it was, I started selling shares. And there's a couple of people in the audience who actually fell for it and bought some. Right, Michael? Yes, they were a gullible bunch of rich fools. Bohemian jugglers, they called themselves. Fat cats who had people throwing money at them all the time, catching it in hats as they went around the world. And I got to grab it. That's how I made my first fortune. I felt like Robin Hood. You know, my superhero, Robin Hood. Stealing from the wealthy artists and giving money to good non-profit causes, like the Graham Ellis Retirement Fund. So I went on, I bought up all the subdivision lots around Bellyacres, dirt cheap prices, probably because they didn't have any dirt at all. I bribed Pat Rocco. I'm not going to tell you how. Yeah, I got appointed as the president of the community association. That really set me up. I conned a lot of people into buying lots and lots full of black rock. Made a bundle of big bucks. Still got it. Keep it in old honey buckets, hidden in a secret lava tube, way deep in the ground under Bellyacres. You can't see it, you won't find it. And that's my smartest move of all, because it was in those lava tubes I built my $1 million mansion. Millions, actually. Completely to code, of course. Actually, I based it, it wasn't a code, but you know, a couple of years ago, Bill 270, some of you might know Bill 270, that cool piece of construction industry propaganda that my good friend and world-renowned legislator, J.R. Hamster, authored on behalf of her many appreciative constituents. So I built my headquarters, I called it Space, did it single-handed from Lumbro. I'm not ashamed to say, I poached it all from the adjacent state land. Why, they got lots of it, they're not using it. I mean, they give it to papaya growers and they bulldoze the whole thing from lock to pin, right? So, you know, what's wrong with it? You know, like a few truckloads here and there. You know? On our own place, Bellyacres, because we did clear cut that. Burn the O'Hears in the sauna. I mean, you know, they don't grow food, right? What good are they? Yeah, except for heating a good sauna. So, one of my major achievements that I'm most proud about, my mum is too, is I've been a real good slum landlord. You know, we invented the name jungalows, you know. It was all common before, bungalows, cabins, and things like that. Now, jungalo has a ring to it, right? Jungalo in the jungles of Puna. Real crime estate. Mold, bugs, dead trees falling, invasive trees creeping in. Hippies pay big bucks for that, you know. They do, they love it. Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool. I wore a tie-dye shirt. They thought I was one of them. My mom knew better. She does. But anyway, people came to the land, and I made money. Then I had this idea. I thought, God, I'm going to get a few people to come in, sell a few vegetables and oranges and that kind of stuff, and charge some big bucks. I got 12 bucks and 15 bucks a week. Yeah, I did from each of them. Dozens of them. And that was my second fortune. Just kept rolling in week after week. I got to admit though, it got a bit embarrassing when I was featured on the Fortune 500 of Pune. The claim was I'd made $50,000 in 1 year from the EBT sales. That was good investigative reporting from one of our neighbors, whose name I won't mention, but begins with C. And her husband's name is M. Anyway, you know, not long ago I got a hankering for politics. It's hard to resist on this island. I mean, look at how many people are running for office. It's a popular gig, you know? I heard it's because after 2 terms you get a retirement pension. Is that right, Tiff? I think so. That's a big motivator for a lot of people around here. Retirement pension. So anyway, you know, I got this hankering for politics because I've always loved, you know, bossing people around, being powerful, making false promises, flirting with chicks. And yeah, I saw how Mayor Billy got away with it. And I thought, yeah, I'm gonna try that. Sounds good. Billy. I was studying, you know, like how to do it. How do you get to be a politician? And I found, you know, a friend of mine told me that Sidney Flukes, I don't know if anybody knows him, he's a planning director from before. He used to go, well, he doesn't used to, he still does, you know, he goes around the county offices after every election, hands out cans of peanuts to everybody, every candidate, shakes their hands, and I'm Sidney, and I'm going to have some bills coming through, and you're going to vote for me because I gave you a can of peanuts. I thought, I can do better than that. So, my plan, I haven't done it yet, but I might. I'm going to go around with a set of juggling balls. I'm going to go, this is what you need. More balls. Right? Every council member needs that. More balls. So, I don't know how that'll go over, but I'm going to give it a shot. You know, for Neil Abercrombie, bless his heart, he's putting out the word. He needs help. He needs help. I don't know if you go on his website, but he says, send me a note, write me a letter, give me your ideas, you know. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. I know all about how to do things like make money and, you know, get rich. And I thought, I know about transport, and they got a big transport problem on Oahu. And I got, Neil, I wrote him a letter. I said, Neil, we got to like reduce, just like Angie says, reuse and unicycle. One wheel, no fossil fuels, and boy, you're taking care of like fat people and, you know, uncoordinated. And I said, that's the solution, Neil. I'm still waiting to get the reply though. And Harry, bless his heart, you know, I made him a few of these meetings, and I know he's still interested in saving us, you know, if there's catastrophes. And so I shared one of my ideas with him too. And I said, you know, tsunamis, high tide, you know, we gotta, you know, what we need to do is get up out of the water. I said, I'm doing programs at space, you know, I can help out with the tsunami evacuation program, you know. bring people along, I'll train them, you know. Stilt walking, you know, stilts, get them up, higher. Water comes up, no problem, dude, we can handle it. We're just, you know, 2 or 3 more feet and we're up there above the water, we're on stilts. And you know, everybody says there's never enough, you know, people working in the county. There's, you know, big problem, we have to cut back on the budget and everything. And so, you know, I got the Charles Dickens Oliver Twist approach. You know, I want to bring the hiccup kids and all those kids that don't do much at school. Bring them into the county. Child labor. Get them down there, working. Child, kids. They've done good for me. I've made a lot of money on the hiccup circus. I don't know if you know that, but over the years, you know, the Mercedes-Benzes, they don't come cheap, you know. So I was back in England, you know, a while ago, quite a while ago, and I was in the town hall, and they have a brochure rack there, and it tells you how to get married, how to get divorced, you know, all kinds of valuable stuff. And I'm looking down the brochures, and I see this one. It says, "How to complain." Pick it up. That was the missing element. You know, coming from England, we don't know how to complain. You have to have a brochure to tell you. Americans, you guys, I tell you, I'm in awe. I am in absolute awe. Complainers, man, you got it down. You guys really got it down. I think, maybe not you personally, but you know, a few people I know. They know how to complain. So I read the brochure, and tell you what, it worked for me. I am now the #1 champion campaign complainer in my neighborhood. Now, you don't know this, but because they're anonymous, confidential. I'm going for the Guinness Book of World Records. I tell you, you know, I can do it. I just got to keep plugging in, calling my friend Jeff Darrow in the planning department. And you know what he says when I call him? He says, "Hi, Graham, how can I help you today?" Because you know what? They're so polite to people who complain. You should try it sometime. It's great. You don't get that when you're on the other side. So I've heard. So, you know, what kinds of things have I complained about? Well, it's not hard in my neighborhood. I mean, there's people like driving beat-up old vehicles. Obviously no insurance, no tax, nothing. They're game. Easy. Cops love them. I've complained about the painting color. Boy, Pat Rocco and his lime green. That's a good one. Hey, and how about using hoses during a drought? Now there's something we need to complain more about, don't you think? And you could get on that one too. Call up Jeff, he liked that one. So, I've thought of things to complain about, but I gotta tell you, the worst of all is when I'm out with my chainsaw, you know, cutting those trees down. My chainsaw gets totally overwhelmed by the neighbor's noise. They're watching comedy shows on TV, Comedy Central or something. People are laughing and clapping. I can't even hear my chainsaw. But Jeff's gonna help me out. He's gonna get them shut down. Thank you, Jeff. So, those kinds of behaviors are totally unacceptable in what we call in jolly old England a civilized society. And regarding civilized society, you know, I'd like to mention a little bit about the Kingdom of Hawaii. Thank you.